If you're on the market for a home, what exactly are you looking for in a realtor? If you want an ATX original who has over 2 decades of experience in this market, a truly devoted family guy who's been known to make time for a cortado or two as well, if so, I know a guy. His name is Kevin Hutchison. He manages to balance his life while finding homes for his clients, all while playing dad. This proud boy and girl dad is musically inclined, and he bleeds burnt orange as well.
Thank you, Clint. You pretty much said it all. I'm honored to be a part of Stories Inside the Man Cave and honored to serve each and every one of you in your real estate needs. San Antonio, Austin, Texas, everywhere in between.
Hutch will treat you like family while finding your ideal home. Give him a shout at the number on your screen or shoot him an email. Kevin Hutchison at Realty Austin. Hi, Wills.
Hey, buddy.
Hey.
What's up?
That song just feels good.
I love
It's
it.
therapeutic.
I love the picture. I just want to loop with the song and my pictures. I could stare at it all day. It's fantastic.
It just brings you on a Monday. It just brings you
100%.
to a good place like it's Friday.
That's exactly right.
Man,
Exactly.
this is installment number 7. And since we last did this, we added a new picture.
Great.
Honest Air Conditioning and Plumbing, Hutto, Pflugerville, Round Rock, North Austin.
All
they like
points
to
in
do-
between.
Yeah. All points in between. And they like handshakes,
I love it.
where a handshake still means something. Give those guys a call sometime.
That's perfect. 100%. And people are going to need it every time your AC goes out. Every time when that thermometer hits 9.7. Boom. Yeah, it's
You
going.
know, you bring up a good point, Wills. Don't wait until the summertime. Call Honest AC right now for spring maintenance.
Yeah,
That's a
100%.
good point.
You know, it's true, not to belabor the point, but you got to get those guys out there to do a clean test, all that stuff before it's too late. Because if it's too late, then it's sweltering. It's tough.
And then you see, and you don't want people like us, Wills and myself, running around in our Speedos because we
No.
don't have AC.
Well, I mean, some do, but
Yeah.
preferably we like to do it in our Speedos with the AC, climate controlled.
Foot up on the lazy boy
100%.
next to the mahogany table.
That's right.
The sweet mahogany table. Yeah. So idle conversation with Wills, installment number 7. And if you have been under a rock, 2 weeks ago, the NCAA tournament started. Texas got the win. Wills was there. But there was a little bit of drama getting to Milwaukee. And that's where our first point. I mean, we reached out to our friend Chris Del Conte. He's too busy. But the guy juggles 43 things at once at a
Correct.
minimum. And tell the story here because you're tied to this. You drove to Milwaukee with the AD of the University of Texas. How did that all start and why did that happen?
Correct. Well, we were scheduled to be on the same flight. And it was one of those things that happens, you know, when you're at an airport trying to get somewhere. Luckily, we were going the day before, and Hutchison and I were going to go up to see Chicago and all that.
Yeah.
We ran in and we're talking about the game, and you know, it was, you know, like a calamity of things. We got on the flight and it was, you know, there's plenty of room. We're like, this is going to be great. Spread out. We're going to be in good shape. And they hit you with little maintenance, going to be a little delay, and then get off the flight.
Oh,
So we get off. And one thing I forgot about is you get off the flight and you realize it's a race to the gate to get on whatever. Well, I kind of petered around, and Del Conte's petering around, and we're kind of talking, well, what do you think, blah, blah, blah. And well, maybe we were both on standby for the 9 o'clock, but going to get on the 11. Well, you look outside, it's foggy, and the other flight got diverted to Waco. Well,
Waco?
he's kind of like, well, what do you think, boys? How far is this? How far is a drive? He starts mentioning a drive. Well, we're looking it up, 17 hours. And he kind of looks at me and he's like, I'll do it. So then we're hither and yon. Stuff keeps happening with the planes. He's like, I'll drive it, boys.
Woo, volunteerism.
All right, let's do it. But it's kind of a game of chicken, It's like the start of every road trip, right?
Right.
One guy says it. You kind of lock eyes and you kind of size up how this trip's going to go. And then once you make that move, then you're committed. So I said, all right. He goes, are you sure? Yes. Let's go. Hutchison is kind of like, what is going on? 8th grade. What? I was going to be in Chicago smoking cigars with my dad. And now I'm going on a road trip. Anyway, so we get out, meet him, start going, having fun, and nothing really happened. He kind of called, I think Coach Ogden was the first to kind of hear about it. And he sends me a text like, is this serious? Are you guys seriously doing that? I'm like, yeah, I'm helping the basketball program here, whatever. But when he sent that first tweet up there at Temple, my phone literally started melting. I mean, I got so many texts. He starts getting calls from people like, this is a hoax. This isn't real, and we're kind of laughing. The key point was we were getting close to Dallas. We had several people calling saying, hey, jump off. You can go with us tomorrow, whatever. Get off. We were going to get a Southwest flight. And my son's in the back, and he's texting his cousin who was going to meet us up there. He's like, are y'all really driving the whole way? Blah, blah, blah. He's like, no, I think we're going to fly out of Dallas. We're going to go, whatever. And they're sending suggestions. Del Conte's got suggestions. Everybody's got suggestions.
Yeah.
And so we're all in the car deciding, and I kind of go, what do you want to do? And he's, he hadn't said much all trip. He's like, I think we should fly. We ought to fly out of Dallas. And I said, the only problem is we're getting a lot of traction. A lot of people, we've kind of committed to this road trip.
Yeah. Bro code.
Said, let's keep going. And so we did. And Hodges' text to his cousin, I read it later, was, hang on, I think we're going to fly to Dallas. And then his next one is, these guys are going to make me drive the whole way. Who's so bad. But anyway, it was a lot of fun. It really, even at our age, it had the feelings of a fun, guys talking sports the whole way. A lot of fun, good time. Really was.
So, it became a hit. You said your phone melted. I didn't know about it till 4 hours after that tweet that we see in this collage on the upper left. Then Brian Mays, my longtime buddy for the main anchor at K-View, he says, is that your buddy with CDC? Alerted me to it, and I said, what are you talking about? And I looked, and that's what started it all. And so then it was just a CDC. You guys had a great dialogue on that thread. How about that middle one? Is there any truth that your bladder is the size of a walnut?
I'd like to say fake news. Here, let me be quite honest with you. The problem is when you're going through a lot of Copenhagen and you've had about 1 million Diet Cokes. The problem is the one where we stopped at the casino and I got Diet Coke and I pounded one. I got off my phone with my wife. She's like, what are you doing? Anyway, pounded a Diet Coke. Man, it hit me 30 minutes in. And I finally just go, brother, I am sorry. And he's like, no problem. Absolutely no problem. And I walk out of that deal, and that is literally me walking out. And I saw his phone, and I went, "Good night."
He's tweeting it.
Yeah, I'm done. So that was true. That was a walnut-sized hold on my end. He is 100% accurate.
So you guys finally made it to the Hilton. I guess you guys made it to
Springfield, Illinois.
That's a long day. That's a good drive.
Anytime you go from Austin, Texas to Illinois, that's a drive.
I wouldn't wish it upon anybody.
No, it was aggressive.
So then he tweets that room just so happened to have a burnt orange backsplash or a wall.
Correct.
But did your room have burnt orange?
This is a good question because we got to the Springfield, Illinois. We're checking in, and it's at this point, it's just some road weary guys. Okay. So 2 guys, 8th grader, road weary, 2 rooms checking in. And the lady goes, "Okay. And here's our whirlpool suite or room or whatever." And Del Conte's like, "All right, Wheels, you want this one? Here you go." Hands it to me. And she says, "Just remember, no essential oils in the tub." I didn't remember this until after, but Hodges said, Del Conte kind of looks at her and goes, "Ma'am, we're just kind of trying to get some sleep tonight." Like, what? I mean, it was midnight, what in the world? Anyway, so we go get our room, and I open the door, and that was my view. His picture, I was like, oh my gosh. And he's down the hall, and he opens his up, and he's got 2 double beds, and he goes, "Hey, Wheels, I don't know about that room, but this has double beds." I said, "I think we ought to switch." And we handed the keys down the hall, and I said, "Wait till you take a look," And that was his view when he opened it up, and it's amazing. It's an amazing, amazing moment.
Oh my God! And it looks clean. It looks It looks COVID free.
Yeah, no essential oils in that tub.
Well, I don't understand that. I don't get it.
It was a eye opener. I don't know what's going on in Springfield.
Cheap prostitution.
Well, 407 nights ago.
Hey, Abraham Lincoln's from
that
area.
Exactly right.
So then you guys make a stop, or was that before? You bought a lid, a 20-gallon hat. Where was that?
That was in Pontiac, Illinois. It was our first stop of the morning, and I'm like, why wouldn't you buy a cowboy hat in Pontiac, Illinois? So I did.
You still have it?
I do. I wore it to the Purdue game, which means I'll never wear it to another college basketball or football event ever. But
you jinxed them, right?
I jinxed them with a hat. But it was a good on-the-road purchase. I'm a big hat purchaser on the road.
Right. Is that like a Buc-ee's but Illinois style?
I think so. I think it was. It wasn't the come and go we stopped in Missouri, but it was a big Buc-ee's-esque Illinois stop.
So you guys finally arrived, and of course the Twitter, all the haters out there, all the Twitter tough guys, tough women, blasted CDC for texting and driving. And this was by far one of the most comical tweets. You crafted this one. It looks a little blurry in this shot, but what did you say?
I said, this man, I almost said kidnapped. The problem is you send a tweet. I mean, that was the only tweet I've ever sent. But you send a tweet like that, and I thought I can't say any kind of code word that somebody's going to contact me. Anyway, I said, help this man took me and my son from Austin across the country to Milwaukee. He's an erratic driver at best and enjoys hotels with in-room hot tubs. Very appreciated. Well, I didn't even think about. I mean, I think we were stalled in traffic at that point. Like he wasn't doing that. Like, tweeting or So I didn't even think through that people would come on and say anything. It was just a picture of him driving. But again, it wasn't some dangerous
Right.
deal.
Well,
but
you know how people are.
of course.
You know, all the haters, like Coach Beard says, it's all you haters out there.
I know. Yeah. No, it was a good trip, a lot of fun. As everyone knows, he's the genuine article. So a lot of fun.
Got it. And then they did win.
They did win. Just a great time. What was funny is, Hodges was, oh my God, we finally got there. He's like, I can't believe, he didn't after the fact, but I was like, I'm telling you, this is worth it. It's a memory, that's what really any road trip, you got good stories, you got good memories. And I'm like, Hodges, I promise you in 15 years, you're really going to appreciate how funny this whole thing was. And really what was funny is there's a picture of us from the morning where he's like, all right, we're finishing the trip, or day 2, here we go. And it's just us, whatever. And some nice lady, we didn't read any of the comments until we got there. Some nice lady wrote on there like, oh, come on, Horns, win this one. Win it for Hodges. Hey, buddy, you got fans here. You got all kinds of, everybody's rooting for you. And that's when he really was like, understood the gravity of how funny it was. That
he will never forget it.
Yeah, for sure.
That's the best father-son road trip in modern history.
Yeah, it was a good time for sure.
That's awesome. And Texas won the first NCAA tournament game since 14.
Yeah.
And now we're to the national championship. And I hated that Chris Del Conte couldn't join us. We got he would. I bet he has requests nonstop about that. That old
100%. Yeah.
I'm sure he was deflecting quite a few.
You bet.
Oh my gosh! So you guys got back home safely.
We got back safely.
34 hours round trip. And now we're at the national championship game tonight as the recording. Kansas, North Carolina, 2 blue bloods. Who you taking? And you would have liked to have seen Coach K in his last one, but what Hubert Davis has done with North Carolina, man,
correct.
Unreal.
Let me assure you that this is more, you can follow this under the opinion. I'm very glad Coach K's out. Not the biggest fan, but that's neither here nor there. Really, I am pulling very hard for North Carolina, and I'll tell you why. When we were in Milwaukee, night 2, so we'd won. This is Saturday night. I'm looking, my brother-in-law's there. Where are we going to go eat? So I find this, there's an Italian restaurant right in walking distance, downtown Milwaukee. We make reservations, 8 o'clock, go over there and eat. So we sit down, and it looks awesome. Just have a good feel, great atmosphere. Well, kind of in a corner, Craig Way and his producers over there, and we kind of see him wave, and we're sitting there. And then I look, and table in the back, kind of a big round table, CDC's back there. So I think to myself, I'm going to get him, the worst fruity drink or something terrible that doesn't go with Italian. And I looked, and they had a mellow yellow soft drink. When the waiter was going to come, I'm going to get him, just hand it to him in a can and say it's from us. Anyway, we didn't get there because he saw us, and he'd come around, and he's like, oh, what are you doing? Blah, blah, blah. And we're like, I'm like, quit following us around, kind of good banner, and we're laughing. Well, a guy from the other table yells, is that Wheels across the, and I kind of look up, and he's like, get over here. So I go over there, and I'm meeting everybody at the table. Del Conte's daughter had flown up. We're talking. We've got mutual. I know, her friends' parents, which I can't believe I'm that old. But anyway, we're talking. And this guy's like, I got to get a selfie. He takes a selfie, and it's me and Del Conte, and he's taking a selfie. And, man, this fun. We kind of talked about the trip. I go sit down. And then I realize it's Bubba Cunningham, the AD of North Carolina.
No.
Yeah, he had to be there because he's on the NCAA panel, and his site that he had to go oversee and be in charge of was the Milwaukee first and second rounds.
Yeah.
So anyway, he took it. Well, he tweeted it out the next day. He's like, up here in Milwaukee for the NCAA tournament, I ran into CDC and Wheels. And, of course, his following isn't quite like CDC's, but somebody wrote under it like, great photo, Bubba, but who is CDC and Wheels? He's pretty cool. But great guy. And so I really am rooting hard for them. That's a great story. Hubert Davis, what he's done.
Oh.
And, you see what's funny is you see Roy Williams in the stands, how happy. And that's genuine, He's not – he is genuinely happy that he left that program that way and that his handpicked successor's doing that well, which is awesome.
I love it. Roy is genuine. He knew it was time to go, but he did a lot for Kansas and North Carolina, both of them.
Right. You know what makes me a little sad, and this is sour grapes, but we beat Kansas at home in a really great game. But on senior night in Lawrence, Kansas, Bill Self's never lost. We had them beat. Tie game. We make one free throw and they don't convert. It's over. We don't make the free throw, but we hold them and we take them to OT. Ooh, and that's arguably the best team in the country as it sits right now. So,
well, I've got to ask you this, and I love Bill Self. I mean, I've followed him. Obviously,
sure.
Oral Roberts. I think he was at Tulsa as well.
Yeah, Tulsa, sure.
Let's go across town. Let's just stay in the city of Tulsa.
Right.
And obviously, when he was with, I think at Oklahoma State. I think he was at Oklahoma State.
He played there.
That's right. That's right. And he was from the town I lived in.
Yeah.
My previous job before moving back to Austin, Edmond. But I never truly felt like Kansas was that Final Four team this year. They're good.
Yeah.
They're really good, but I just didn't feel it.
Yep.
And
really, I thought Gonzaga would be there. I really did. And I thought Baylor, our games against Baylor, and maybe it's because we look at it through a lens of Texas and how Texas matches up. And I think about the only two games all year that really we got beat pretty bad was Gonzaga. Now, we came back and fought to make it close. And Baylor in Waco. Yeah. They really and every time we claw back, mainly, and that's a good sign for Texas. Even in those games where we're pretty outmatched, we somehow claw back in the second half to bring it close. But both those games, I thought those two teams to me stood out as they're going to go. But it just shows you that no matter how good you are, sometimes you get a bad matchup against somebody and you're going to lose. And North Carolina, credit to the Tar Heels.
Yeah.
Those guys beating Baylor the way they did, all these teams they've gone through. It's a gauntlet, but they're playing the best basketball they've played all year, and it's right now.
Yeah, that's all that matters.
Right.
I think we're gonna have a good show tonight.
100%.
Here in a couple hours.
That's right.
It's going to be a lot of fun. Now, staying here at home, spring camp number 2 with Sark, and I've got to start with this soundbite right here. I wasn't prepared for Bijan to say this when I first heard it.
I was trying to pop it back in so I could keep playing, but obviously I couldn't. And then when I saw it, it was out of place. And then so the trainers came, and at the time I couldn't really feel it because the adrenaline was going. But
dislocated his elbow and tried to put it back in toward the end of last year. I mean, that should tell you how tough that kid is.
So tough.
And what was going on behind the scenes. There were people hurt last year, too.
That's right, for sure. And what's funny is I've thought about this and read a little bit about the new coaches coming in, and you can already tell. Now, we've got stars on that side of the ball with Bijan and Xavier Worthy, but the connection Choice and Marion, the new coaches, have made with these guys, it can't be understated how good that's going to – not saying that the other guys, they did, but I think a lot of people outside of whatever fandom in the coaching circles believe in what Sark's building.
Yeah.
And coming here, a lot can be said about 5 and 7 and all this, but getting those two guys who are arguably the hottest names to come join your staff, if you thought for a second, hey, he's not going to work out or that's program's not going to work out, they ain't going to come. So, I mean, it's not like those guys didn't have options to go.
Oh, tons.
So Bijan is a 1 in a million guy, obviously, and his toughness in that just statement, humbly saying what exactly happened, it's incredible. So I think I could not be more bullish. And again, I'm not saying we're going to be undefeated, but I think we're going to see massive improvement because talent, they're young, but I think defensively we're going to see a lot better. Everything's gelling. And again, when you're building a football program, I think he's doing it in the right way of work. It's going to be a long-term fix through recruiting, through whatever, and you let people go to where this year we'll see a lot of it. And then next year it could be on.
Yeah, you get 2 more years. I still think they've got Texas has got to find a way to find some depth at receiver.
Yeah.
If Troy O'Meara could ever be healthy. And I know it's not his fault, but.
Yeah, he can be healthy. The good thing is you've got Worthy, you've got Whittington. If Whittington's healthy and Worthy are healthy, and then you got the guy from Wyoming, Namor. Yeah. So that's 3. Now, what you also can think about is if O'Meara can live up to what every time and stay healthy, and then you've got a guy like Marcus Washington who he could be a guy who gets better to where, in the old days, you didn't expect a freshman to do anything. And then by the time they were a junior and senior, they really started to get better. I mean, those guys are practicing every day. So he's a guy that could come on like, remember Marcus Johnson.
Yeah.
Who really was kind of, and then by his junior and senior year, I mean, he's still maybe playing in the NFL. So you can build
great receiver.
Right. If those 3 stay healthy, your backups are guys that are seasoned and experienced. And then you hope maybe a freshman, maybe a redshirt freshman could come in. They could really have a lot of depth. And I think they'll be more athletic, obviously, at tight end. All the reviews are good. It's really if some of those freshmen can come in and play line and fill in the gaps.
That's the key.
Yeah,
there's going to still be growing pains in the line.
100%.
The dudes are here.
They're here.
But it's going to take 2023, I think.
That's right.
Before they see. So you mentioned Jordan Whittington, and that cat is something special. He talked about Quinn Ewers, how Quinn Ewers has a unique leadership, and that he's a cool dude, reminds him of his own father.
Yeah.
And then, so we all know that Whittington's had just a a harsh reality of injuries, just facing injuries all the time. Well, he said he's taking care of his body more, like we all should, and his diet. But there's one part of his diet that, if I'm eating kale during the week and low protein, I may add this, and you will too, to your diet.
That's the first thing I would say. Take care of your body even when it feels good. Your diet, that's another thing I've been working on this year, is just eating healthy all the time. Except for Saturday, I eat a pint of ice cream every Saturday. Every Saturday. What else will I say? And just stay happy.
The mentals, and to be happy, you got to have a pint of ice cream. That creates happiness last time I checked.
That's right. If I work out 1/100th as much as Jordan Whittington, and I ate a pint of ice cream, I wouldn't fit on your screen. I mean, that's so great. To be that age and be able to do that is pretty great.
He looks like Bob Marley right now. With the hair.
Oh, he's a very talented guy. The other thing, honestly, you just from the basketball team to this, and again, this is kind of a cliche that people rip Texas about, but those guys seem like good kids, fun, just whatever. And I'm not saying nerd, whatever.
Oh.
I'm saying they're good kids who are funny, who have good personalities, who are going to play hard and do well. They're easy to root for. They really are.
Easy to get behind. Of course, Whittington, for those who are not from Texas, he was from a pretty good program. You and I, the Cuero Gobblers.
Yeah.
Great high school football program. I think they're 4A right now.
And they wanted him. His state championship game, they literally would line him up in the Wildcat and just snap it to him.
And he'd go.
I mean, he ran for look up his championship game stats, and it's unbelievable.
Yeah, go to Cuero Gobblers, Jordan Whittington. This is how you spell his name right there. The kid is unreal, and he can fly. He's just real tightly compacted.
Yeah.
Good genetics.
Right.
Shout out to the Whittingtons, who are related to my RBI mentee of 7 years. They are related somehow from the Cuero to Lockhart combination, something like that. I've got to show you something, Wills. I want your take, and I want to watch your face in the box when I show you this. Okay. So, TikTok is a very interesting space. There's some interesting videos, and the Tik Tokking the Man Cave brought to you by Manscaped.com, which we'll talk about that shortly. I can't wait to show you this. Apparently, it's hard to do Jello shots, and I've never seen a failure in a Jello shot, but this young lady, she has some issues with it.
That's horrible. That's just terrible.
Why would you record that?
I agree. Thank you. That was my first. Okay, let's say she didn't choke on it. Okay. So what? You took it. Come on. And that's so the problem is when you watch it, you know that feeling of it up under your nose and which way is it coming out? Oh, horrible. That's terrible.
Oh, I saw that, and I've held on to that for 2 weeks now. Just to show you.
Horrible.
Horrible. Sometimes I feel like, God, I am wasting so much time looking for a video for this segment.
It's good.
It's crazy. But I don't think she was old. She's got to be in her late 20s, early 30s.
She could be. We could be insulting her, but yeah.
That was funny. And I did follow up. I saw that she finally was able to swallow a Jello shot.
That's very important. I'm glad that got solved.
That is a resume builder.
That's right. 100%.
So manscaped.com, it's right there. That's one of our sponsors.
Yeah.
So just like women, and rightfully so, have breast cancer awareness, you need to do the self-exam. Well, this is from manscaped.com. We save balls. We got to give love to our balls. So it's Testicular Awareness Month here in the month of April.
Testicular awareness, not testicular, not cancer awareness, just
testicular cancer. Yeah.
I thought testicular awareness was late July or August.
That's during the swamp ass month.
Okay, that's right.
Testicular cancer awareness to promote self-exams. Manscaped.com has jumped on board. It's part of the new platform campaign. That's why they made this shirt. And it's something that we as men overlook quite a bit. We don't like going to the doctor.
Right.
And having these checks. You can do it at home. Log on to manscaped.com. There's instructions on how to do that. And I'll put them up on our socials when I get I'll localize the promo for testicular cancer awareness. And also log on to manscaped.com. We talked about the Weed Whacker and the Lawnmower 4.0, the ball deodorant. Well, they've evolved and they have everyday use products like shower gel, soap. There's all kinds. And you'll see that next episode. But when you go to manscaped.com, when you check out, put in ManCave20, all one word, when you check out on the promo code for 20% off. It's good stuff, my friend.
I love it.
You were at UT which years?
Undergrad starting in 92, finished in 96.
Okay. So you knew the Penders.
Of course.
Yeah. So they're good people.
The best.
The absolute best. I'm trying to pull up this picture that I had of them, and I can't seem to find it. But anyway.
I need to get you something because you just had them on there. I've got some extra. We did when Coach Penders came back right before the seasons. He came back several times during the year because, of course, he loves Coach Beard more than anybody in the country. And he'll text him, after a game, and it'll be, that big on the screen about what he saw and what, XYZ and he'll give him scouting report. He loves it. But we made those running horn shirts.
Yeah.
So Brandon Nelms, one of my buddies who's been buddies with Beard forever, had a shirt that Beard gave him when Beard was a student coach at Texas. And it's real simple, but it's Texas basketball, and there's a basketball, and inside the basketball it said running horns. Well, we went on and made the recreation of the shirt and gave them to Tom and Susie and all of them.
Wow.
A bunch of them. So they're real neat. I've got one for you if you want.
Man, I would love that. You know
great.
which one I still have? You're going to laugh. Of course, when I took it to college, I cut the sleeves out of it.
Of course.
It's what we did back then.
Tightly connected athlete you were.
Back in those days, perhaps, possibly.
Right.
The Come Dance with Lance and the Running Horn.
The best. Sweet 16.
And the Elite Eight.
Yeah.
Oh, my God, man. Those were good times.
Good times.
That was a great team, by the way.
Great team. I mean, you look at it, just guard play was exceptional. Joey Wright. I mean, they just were – it was a really great team, and they were really well coached. I mean, everybody said offensively, but they were opportunistic on the defensive side. They were really great team.
They had Loxley Colley and Guillermo Myers.
Yeah.
So episode 129, I just want to encourage everybody. We're all under the stories inside the Man Cave podcast umbrella. But if you go to the Stories Inside the Man Cave podcast Facebook page or YouTube page, you can see it's a long episode, but it doesn't seem like it. It's Tom and Tommy Penders.
Yep.
As you know, Tommy came in as a point guard and they had a lot of point guards.
They had a lot, for sure.
Great episode. And Coach Penders, he was on point yesterday with the humor.
Yeah.
And the storytelling.
Let me tell you, he's got, that couple times I saw him this year. I mean, I can't remember, right before the Tech game, and he was talking about something, and it just ended up me and him, and he started talking about him being a young coach in the Northeast, and he asked Red Auerbach a question, and he said, an hour and a half later, he asked him about a basketball set or something. Hour and a half later, he realized Red Auerbach is still talking to me, a young college coach, about this one thing in basketball. He said, that's the way. Now, I think they still do, but he said back then, these guys would give you so much time, and it was incredible. You'd come out of a meeting where you talk to a coach, and it'll change a little thing, but it's something you carry on for the rest of your career, which is pretty great.
It's unreal. I think Coach Pender said that his relationship with Red Auerbach, the former GM of the Celtics,
and
right?
Coach.
That was his title. And coach.
Yeah, he was a coach and then GM.
That's right. It was before. Yeah, that's right. That's why I need your wisdom.
Bro, Coach Mo wouldn't give you that.
No, he wouldn't. He'd give you something about A&M or Sam Houston.
He'd talk about R.C. Slocum and,
Jackie Sherrill.
Summer conditioning back in the 90s.
And Ron Randleman at Sam Houston.
Right.
He said that he and Red Auerbach's relationship, I think, began when Tom was coaching at Fordham.
Yeah, that's right.
Unbelievable. The history.
Yeah.
And the fraternity about it all.
That's right.
Well, Wills, it's been fun. Number 7's in the books.
Love it.
That was you're looking back, reflecting back on that road trip with CDC. That is, I don't know of any other word. A road trip to Milwaukee, 17 hours from ABIA due to delays. You got to admit, there's some kind of it's legendary status.
It's up there. It's in the books. Pretty good. Good run.
It's real nice, Clark.
That's right.
Hey, for Wills, I'm Clinch. We out.